You people
Yes,
able
yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Okay. So myself is Sham. I am a DevOps student. Like I have around 10 years of experience in IT industry. So from past 10 years, I'm working on AWS and DevOps activities. So this is my little bit background on myself. So can I know about yourself, guys? Like you are a student or you are working employee or what kind of a role you are doing currently? So just one or two lines.
Hi, my name is
Yes, sir.
Akhil. I
One by one.
recent.
So when somebody is speaking, please keep others in a mute so that we can clearly hear other people's voice. Okay.
Yeah. Let me go first. Hi, everyone. Myself, I'm Akhil. I recently finished my master's and planning to look for any job. So in DevOps. That's the reason I want to uh, start pursuing DevOps.
Okay. Can we go with next person?
Hi, everyone. This is Praveen Kumar KE. I completed BC in 2019 password. I have 2 years of work experience as a PLSQL SQL query builder. I'm looking for job change. Like I want to switch my job as DevOps.
Okay.
For that reason, I done this job. Thank you.
Rest of people, others?
Hi, my name is Pawan Kumar.
Okay, okay, one by one.
Yeah, this is Ramesh here. Hi, good morning and good evening. This is Ramesh here. I have 15 years of IT experience. I worked on like backup products and big data Hadoop and Kubernetes. I just want to, kind of as of now, I do get like opportunity to work on premises. I want to touch base with the AWS along with the couple of scripting like Ansible and there are a couple more scripting and those things I'm looking forward to work.
Yeah, we got it. Okay, can we go with next person?
Yeah, my name is Pawan Kumar. Currently, I'm working as a HR associate at IBM, and like as I'm having background of like as I have pursued BSc computers, so I'm looking into a change into IT side. So, yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay, that's all. Okay, so let me share the screen. So if all people are completed, we can go ahead with our training demo session. Okay, able to see my screen, guys?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah. Okay. So this training is this demo session is completely deals with your. So what is DevOps and AWS? Okay. So you people are looking for based upon your understanding, I came to know that. So some people are recently completed their graduation or post graduation, and some people are working employees, some people are not from non-IT. Okay, so people are from non-IT students, and some people are working employees. Okay, so not into the completely the IT domain, so they are from the different domains. Only one person which is having a good exposure into the IT industry, so he can easily understand the DevOps and AWS. Okay, so the person who is having good experience like IT side, he can understand the concepts easily. He don't want to he can easily grasp it. Okay, so the persons who are from non-IT background and the persons who are recently completed their education, they need to be little bit focused on the activities. Okay, so coming to the AWS thing, we don't have any coding. No coding will be there in the AWS side. Okay, so everything is a concept based. So we have a certain services are there. So AWS is a cloud platform. not only AWS, we have certain cloud platforms are there. So all the companies are migrating. Migrating is nothing but, so before cloud came into picture, what happened? So we need to rely on other companies. Suppose if you have, our company has infrastructure of 5,000 systems are there. So company don't want to pay that much amount of buying the 5,000 servers. What they will do, they will rely on other companies to purchase their infra and application deployment. Infra related any activities, if you are doing it, so they are going to rely on other companies. So once the cloud came into picture, no need to rely on everybody. So each and every activity we are performing in IT industry, all activities we can perform with AWS. For example, if you want to do the admin work, if you want to do the storage engineer work, if you want to do the networking work, you want to do the development work. Okay. So AWS is, okay, can somebody can go on to mute? Okay. Okay. So AWS will be like inside your organization. So there are lots of team people are working on it. So if you want to allocate your system, admin people will be there. So if you want to install software in your system, some other teammates will be there. So if you want to do the development work, so we require a Java development team. So if you want to deploy your application, there will be separate team. Okay. So if you any network issue, something like okay, so first listen the thing. So if you have a doubts, we can clarify the doubts at the last. Okay, so if you are okay, somebody's doing something. Okay, so whatever the activity you are performing in the real-time scenario in IT organization, all the teams work, network team, storage team. So if you take the database work, somebody's from PSQL, they told it. So database work, you are doing it. Okay. So any kind of a work in IT industry, real-time scenarios. So once you inside go into the organization and once you exit from the organization, what are the activities you are performing in the IT? So we are going to rely on all the teammates. So if you want to allocate your system, if you want to set up the network, if you want to access your system from outside of your company network, so if you want to access your system from home, okay, so how the IP address is allocating for your system, and if you want to upgrade your system, and if you want to install softwares in your system, and you want to copy the files from your system to another system, and your friend system which is in Bangalore location and you are working from Hyderabad location. So you are accessing both the systems and you are able to transfer the files from the both the systems. So whatever you are doing, any activity in a company, like any kind of a domain you take it. Okay. So the different teammates like network team, storage team, database team, infra team, admin team. Okay. Any kind of activity like DNS, domain namespace mapping, okay, application deployment, coding work, development work, deployment work, any kind of a work you are doing, and all the teammates in the organization, all the people work can be done by a single person. That person we are going to call it as a AWS. Okay, so AWS work is nothing but, so different kind of domains are available in the IT organization. Okay, all the domains, so they have categorized in the services wise. So if you want to do the networking, suppose you don't know the networking. So we should hire the network engineering for the networking activities. But in AWS, if you know the networking concepts, you can only do the networking. So if you want to work with the storage, I want to store my images, I want to store my files, I want to store my data. Application, if you take any applications like kitchen-based applications, restaurant-based application, you can see the application. So they are storing the images, they are retrieving the images. So instead of taking the server and local machine, so we can take the cloud, we can upload the images and we can store the images. So for that one, we need to have the storage engineer. Okay, same thing here in the AWS, we have a service called S3. So with the help of S3, we can implement that service. So no need to hire the storage engineer, no need to hire the network engineer. All the work can be done by the AWS engineer. So if you know the concept of it. Okay. So same thing if you want to go with the databases. If you want to perform any database work, so we should hire the database administrator, DBA, SQL developer. Like that, we need to hire the different people. We need to hire it. So if you want to go with the database, so we can also do from the RDS, Redshift. Okay. So these are the service name AWS is providing it. Okay. So let me log in through it and show you. So this is a AWS account, how to create AWS account and how to set up, I will tell you guys. So if you go for the real-time scenario, any organization, whatever the company network, company, every activity we can do from here only. Okay. So let me go here. So these are the services it will be supported. So if you are working any migration activity, if you are working in the development activity, if you are working on the databases, so no need to hire the database engineer. Whatever the database activity you want to perform it, something like if you go for the RTS. So we have a MySQL, PostgreSQL, Aurora DB, anything, Oracle. So whatever the database you want to work it, whichever the license, no need to request anybody. All the databases, we can do it from here itself. If you want to go with the created database, so it will be supported list of databases. So the people, I don't know anything database here. So we will teach you all the domains in here. So any person is don't want to rely on other persons, other teammates, other domains. No need to delay on each and every people domain. No need to delay on it. So that's the reason what AWS is thought. So only one single person can handle the all kind of activities. Okay. So if we have a requirement for the database, no need to hide the database. So if you have AWS engineer, you can do the database activities. So if you want a storage related activities, no need to hire the storage engineer. So if you want to hire for the admin related activities, I want 5 servers, I want OS servers like Linux servers, I want it, I want Windows servers. So no need to allocate some 50 new people, training people came into our organization. We need to allocate the 50 servers to them. So again, we need to request a mail, they will allocate some system. So what are the specifications required? We require Java should be installed in the all the systems. So these are the specifications will come. So no need to hire the admin person. So we can do all the activities. You can see. So if you want to create a database, so all the predefined options are providing here. So what is this? AWS is nothing but it's a platform providing for us. Okay. All things are available here. Just we are use and paid. Okay. So it's a like option called pay and use. If you want to perform any kind of activity, so just we need to choose the service and we need to, so list of all the things are available in the AWS itself. So if you want to go with database, we can go database, what type of database you require, what are your specifications, all the things, how to want to take the backup. Okay. So all the things will be available in the AWS. Same thing if you want to go with something like if you want to create a server. So there is a one more service called EC2. So EC2 will help us to servers. So that we can go with EC2. So what type of a server you required? So Windows server you required or Linux server you required. Okay. So what type of configurations required? How much RAM you required for your system? How much storage you required for system? What type of software you want inside the server? So everything here in the AWS is a virtual. But when you go into organization, everything is a not virtual. But you are sitting in your home and you can do the entire company's work from your system only. If you have a AWS account access. So no need to go office, no need to log in access. So we can go anywhere and just if you have the AWS account, so we can log in from anywhere. Okay. So it's like a platform that is providing and what are the services you require. So for example, I want a Windows server. So if you want to allocate a Windows server to you, just we can come here and we can go and launch the server. Okay, so main AWS is nothing but whatever the domain you taking. So I want to have one domain name. Like if we know our sites like GoDaddy.com, like other sites are available here. So if you want to purchase any domain name, so we'll go to the official websites like GoDaddy.com, we'll pay for 1 year. So these are the domain name you are looking for. This is available domain. Same kind of service also we can available here. Okay, so that service we are going to call it as a Route 53 DNS. Route 53. Okay, so application deployment, if you want to do any coding part, anything, okay, so then we can go with load balancer. Okay, so list of services I will tell you guys. So load balancer, auto scaling. So if you don't know the networking, we should know what is networking. So if you want to go with storaging, so we have S3. So if you want to work with databases, so if you want to work with services creations or service allocations, set up in the server. Okay, so everything is a virtual. If you want to go with the DNS, we can go with the DNS. And if you want to go with load balancing, what is meant by load balancing is nothing but, so for example, if you are deploying any application, okay, so this is your server. Inside your server, if you are deploying any application, something like Flipkart, Amazon, anything, take it. So there it is a one kind of application. So every application, if you are deploying, there should be a server. In the real-time scenario, in our language, we are going to call it as this is a system. This is my personal system. From there, I'm showing you. So in the IT industry, we are going to call it as it is a server. Okay. This we are going to call it as a server. So it may be any kind of application. So if the server having some hardware will be there, softwares will be there. So if there is any problem with the hardware or software failures in the system will not be working. So if system is not working, our application also will not work. So in that cases, what they will do? So they will go with load balancing concept. Load balancing in a concept is nothing but there will be a group of servers will be there. Okay, so you can take n number of servers. So n number of servers in each server, we have a applications running. Okay, so this all servers we are organizing into a group, and this group can be accessed with single URL, something like. So if you map your URL with your custom domain name, so what we can do when you are typing from the browser www.flipkart.com, so the request will goes to any one of the servers which are presenting in the load balancer. So if any software or hardware failure happens in this server, so if one of the server goes down also, no problem. So we have the rest of the servers are there. So the request will goes to the rest of the servers. So we will identify that what is the root cause. We have to fix this server and we need to again bring back the server up and running. So that is the concept of load balancing. So balancing the load. So the number of users are hitting the URL, how the request will be forwarded to the rest of servers which are present in the group. All the concepts we can discuss in the load balancing. Okay. So next thing is we have a auto scaling. Auto scaling is nothing but, so we have adding or removing servers from group. Okay, so everything, there is no coding part here. Everything it's a concept based, everything is UI. So here we don't have any coding part. Okay, so if you see load balancers, if you see servers creations. Okay, so everything is how to create the servers and how to upgrade the servers, how to log into the servers. Okay, all the things is a UI based only. We don't have any coding part in the AWS. Okay, so this is the way. So when you go for the auto scaling, so same thing is there. So as the load is increasing, So as the load is increasing, so suppose 1,000 users are accessing this URL. So 1,000 requests, only 4 systems can handle it. So now 2,000 requests are coming. So now these 4 systems are not able to handle it. So the performance of the system will goes down. So in order to make those kind of scenarios, so there should be an automation solution like, so whenever the performance of the system is going down, so we need to add the servers automatically. Okay, so when it comes to the Flipkart data application, whenever Saturday, Sunday, or any public holidays, lots of people are accessing the application. When in the weekdays, so accessing the application is very less when compared to the weekends. So in that case, what we need to do, so whenever the load is increasing on the servers, so we should automatically add in these servers. Okay, when there is no load on the servers, we can remove the servers. So adding and removing the servers to the load balancer group, that we are going to call it as a auto scaling. Okay, somebody's pinged it. Okay, so next thing is, if you want to monitor your things, monitoring solution, if you want to monitor your servers, how network is happening, how much speed is happening, all the things we can define at the CloudWatch. Certain action is performed. So if you want to monitor your servers, we can go with CloudWatch. So something like we have SNS. So if you want to notification service, this is. So if you want to notify via email, via message, if the server is very important, server is there. So the server got shut down automatically due to any reason. So we should get notified, right? So the server got stopped. We should get notification either email, either through message. So the notification service enabled, we can do with SNS. Okay, so anybody is from development background, so they can understand the queuing service. So what is meant by queuing service is nothing but, so if you want to store the data, temporarily data for certain period like 7 days, 5 days. So if you're not able to consume the data, so we are going to maintain a queuing services. That service we are going to call it as a SQS. Okay, only one coding function is there, so that is Lambda. So if you are good at any one of the programming language, only one service is there. So that service is a, if you want to write any coding, so that Lambda function help us to process the data. This is the only model we have a coding. Just if you understand the coding, how it will be. So I will explain the shortcuts of how to debugging and everything. Okay. So this is the only module for processing the data and storing the data, returning the data from the databases. So you can use any one of the programming languages. Okay. So these are the things we are going to cover in the AWS. Okay. So this AWS, we have IMA. So CloudFormation templates. CLI. Okay, so CloudFormation template is something like infrastructure as a code. So whatever the manual works you are doing currently, so whatever the manual works till now you have done, so there is another way to do the automation way. So automation way also we can do it. So that we can do with CloudFormation templates. So entire infra of your AWS company organizations, entire infra, if you want to create a 10 servers at a time. So if you want to create a storage, if you want to set up the network, if you want to set up the load balancing. So how we are doing the manual works. So without logging, without doing manual works also, we can write some templates. There is a predefined syntax or templates are there. So with the help of the templates, we can create an entire infra for our organization. Okay, same thing, there is another way. So that is CLI, command line interface. So there are 3 ways we can do it. So this we are going to call it as a console. And there is another ways we can do the resources by using command line interface. That is CLI. Okay. So overall, we are going to call it as AWS is nothing but, so every IT organization, all the resources can be created via cloud. That cloud is AWS cloud. That's it. Simple way we can tell it. So if you want to create a server, if you want to do the database, if you want to do the storage, networking, anything any activity which you are doing in organization, no need to, if you want to work with database, we need to purchase online database license key, we need to purchase it. If you want to have the storage, we need to purchase the storage. If you want to create a servers, so 50 teammates are there, 50 servers, we need to allocate it. So everything which are doing in the real-time scenario, all the things we are going to collect as the resources, all the resources are available in the cloud, and everything is virtual. Okay, so no need, no need to touch the server. Just we'll have the virtual servers here, so we can directly connect to the virtual servers and we can do the work, whatever the work you want to doing in your local machine. Same thing we can do in a virtual servers. Okay, so this is the complete concept of your AWSs. So if you have any doubts and questions, you can ask me.
Yeah, Shyam. Thanks a lot for explaining these details, right? So after completion of before that, right? So what is our course agenda? So are we covering with DevOps along with AWS, or only you are going with AWS?
No, this combination is DevOps and AWS, right? So we are going with DevOps and AWS. This course is completely DevOps and AWS. So first of all, I'm covering the people who are from non-IT background and students. So for them, it will be easy for them. They can understand easily AWS concepts because there is no coding part in here. So next thing is we are going with the DevOps introduction. What is DevOps and everything?
Okay.
So this is AWS concepts. In this AWS concept, like we are going to cover with AWS introduction, like how the AWS came into picture, what is meant by cloud, everything. Okay, so cloud introduction, then next regions versus availability zones, what is meant by regions, what is meant by availability zones. So then we have a services, like what exactly each service will do. So like what is IMA service? Okay, so what is CLI? So what is EC2 service? What is load balancing? Okay, all this concept, why we are using auto scaling. Okay, so VPC, S3. Okay, so Route 53, CloudWatch, Cloud Trial. Okay, SNS, SQS, Lambda, CloudFormation templates, CF. Okay, so these are the service, one by one service will go in, and 90% of the interview questions they will ask it in the interview. So what are the services you have worked on AWS side? So those services only they will ask in the interview. Do you have knowledge on AWS? They will ask it. So once the next question comes into picture is like, what are the services you have worked on it? You can tell all these services. So they will ask the questions from these services only.
Totally, how many services are there, Shyam, may I know, please?
Total 100 plus services are there.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so based upon the projects are based upon the real-time scenarios. So without these services, there will be no projects. Okay, so each project will have a minimum 10 to 12 services, combination of 10 services, they are going to start the projects. Okay, so if you go to the something like online, if you go AWS architecture projects, if you go, okay. So if you go here and if you go for the images here, so they will design like this architecture. If you take any architectural diagram, you can take this one. Okay, so you can see AWS VPC S3. Okay, so NAS S3 Route 53. Okay, so this is the architecture diagram they will give for us. So we need to focus on, so see MySQL database, S3 storage. Okay, so this is subnet where we are talking. This is completely networking VPC. This is completely VPC. Okay, so whatever the services they are using it. So all the services where if you see any architecture diagram, you can see Route 53, VPC, SQL, MySQL database, storage S3. Okay, so like that. So if you see any, if you go join an organization, so they will share the architecture diagram for you. If you see here, S3, Lambda, notification service, SNS, simple notification service, Lambda, DynamoDB. Okay, Event Bridge. This is one of the new service like this. Okay, so whenever you take any project, so almost 90% of the services will come from here itself. Okay, so these are the if you want to handle any AWS work or any project, we should know all these services. So except Lambda function, remaining all the services are UI based on. Simple work, just understand the concept, how it works. That's it. Only for the Lambda function only we require a coding part. Okay, so that too how to write it. And if you don't know anything coding part also, so we have the online. So just we need to get the basic information how to handle it. Okay, so if you don't know coding also in the real-time scenario, haven't worked on Lambda function means, so they will give another work for you. Don't worry about that. But so if you know Lambda function, in other case, there is no other option. So we need to do it means we need to do it. That's it. Okay. So if the multiple people are there in our project, it's okay. If you are a single person is there in the project, so definitely we need to write the Lambda function base. If there is no other option, we need to know the basic knowledge how to handle the Lambda functions. Okay. So these are the services we are going to cover in the AWS perspective. Okay. So rest of people, any doubts, any questions from non-IT background or IT background people?
Hi. Actually, after this session, how can you send this video link?
Okay, so this organizer is there, right? So the day when we are starting the class, they will record the session. So they will create one folder and they will share across to all people. Okay, don't worry about the recording session. Okay.
And sir,
Every day.
what are these Dockers and this Kubernetes and
Yeah,
Jenkins?
that will comes under the that will comes under the DevOps. I will cover the DevOps session now. Okay. So this is completely related to your AWS.
Okay.
Okay. So admin related work, these all are things are right? So in a real-time scenario, every team which you are doing their work, so all the work we can do from AWS. Okay. So this is completely AWS. Now we'll go with DevOps. Okay. So as your wish, guys, so which training you want to start it, we go with that training only. Okay. So DevOps is little bit. So now currently trending one. So all the people are migrating, are the persons who are DevOps people are there. So the non-IT people are students or any IT background from one domain to another domain switching. So this DevOps is useful for them because here we have not much more coding, I can tell it. But we have scripts and commands will be there. Okay. So in DevOps, just let me tell you what are the things we are going to cover it. So then why we required, I will tell you. Okay. So in this, we are going to cover Linux sessions. What is Linux is nothing but, so in the real-time scenario, most of the work you are going to do in the Linux server. So if you go for your Windows server, if you want to download your software, if you want to create a new file, so if you want to copy the file from one system to another system, or if you want to copy a file from one folder to another folder, what you will do? Right click, click new, Control C, Control V. These options you will do in your Windows machine. But when you go for the Linux servers, so we don't have any UI. Everything we need to perform through commands only. Every activity, if you want to download the software, if you want to download in the zip file, if you want to extract it, so if you want to rename the folder, if you want to install software, so if you want to create a file, if you want to copy the file, each and every activity which we are doing in the Windows machine, same activity we need to perform everything through Linux commands. Okay, so each and every command I will tell you how to do it. Okay, so next thing is they will ask about the scripting part. Scripting is nothing but, so there are three types of scripts are there. So one is PowerShell and the shell scripting, or somebody will care about bash scripting and Python. Okay, so if you know any out of three, if you know any one of the scripting is fine. Okay, so they will ask in the interview questions or the interview prospect or the job when you join in as a DevOps engineer. So do you know any one of the scripting? They will ask you. You can tell, have you worked on the PowerShell? Have you worked on the Python scripting? Do you know the basics of the Python? Or do you work on the shell scripting? Okay, scripting is nothing but, so what are the commands you have it right here? What are the commands you are running? So sequentially, if you want to perform the 10 commands at a time. So daily routine work which we are doing it. So daily you are creating the files, daily you are deleting the files, daily you are checking whether the application is running or not, whether the process is running or not. If the process is not running, so we are starting the process. So what are the daily activities we are doing it? So that activities we are going to convert it to the script. Line by sequence of commands, we'll write it and we will organize as a script. Somebody speak.
వచ్చిన క్లాస్ జాయిన్ అయ్యాను అలాగ ఉదయం నుంచి తినేస్తాను ఏంటి టిఫిన్ టైం కదా.
Okay, so if you go for the scripting part, so we have 3 types of scripting. So if you are writing scripting in Windows machine, so that will be a PowerShell. So if you are writing in the Linux environment, that we are going to call it as a bash or shell scripting. Okay, so Python is a separate language. If you know the basics is fine. How to write it, how to execute it. Okay, so every scripting language, there are some condition checkings, looping structures. Okay, so we can write any kind of a logic here. So how to write it and how to define it, how to execute it, I will show you. Okay, so in this training, we are going to cover the shell scripting. Okay, because Linux is the most environment you are going to work it. So we need to knowledge, we should have knowledge on the scripting, shell scripting. Okay, so next thing is, these are the basics for your DevOps. So if you want to start DevOps things, so we need to have the Linux and scripting knowledge. Then we will go with original DevOps training. So first thing is SCM. SCM is nothing but source code management. Okay, so let us go to the diagram of our DevOps architecture. So this is the complete DevOps architecture. So this is the complete flow we are going to work it. Okay, so you can see the DevOps is a infinity process. Okay, so for example, you have development, we have one requirement, Flipkart application is taken. This is our project. So first thing is, we need to develop the login page. So they will plan for the login page. The developers will write the login page code. So they will build the code. So whether any errors are there, any compilation errors are there. So if they are doing any integrations, so while doing integration, so they are facing any issues, compilation issues, anything, so they will build it. So if any test cases then is there, we need to run the test cases. Like login page, we will test with special symbols, characters, 8 characters are there, uppercase are there. Okay, so those all comes under the test cases. So for that login page, we will run the test cases and we will plan for the release. Okay, so what is mean by release is nothing but in the real-time scenario. So we have a multiple environments are there, like a dev environment, SIT, UAT, production. Okay, so these are environments are like systems only, but one system we are going to call it as a dev environment, SIT, UAT, and production. Dev is nothing but development people, they will do the entire work. SIT, testers. Once you've done the development work, so we are moving our login page code to the SIT environment. Okay, so in the development environment, they can do 100 times, 1000 times, each time they can test it. But once the development work is done, the development team will tell that, so our work is done, you can start testing it. So then they will move the same login page code, entire code to the SIT environment. So this SIT testers will test it and they will give the sign off. Sign off is nothing but everything is working fine as expected. So if you found any bugs, any issues, again we are going to report to the development team. So this development team, they will work on the issues. Again, they will fix it. Again, they will move the code to the SIT. So until we'll get the sign off, this process will be repeated. So once we get the sign off for SIT, then we'll prepare for the UAT. UAT is nothing but it's a pre-production environment. Okay, so pre-production environment is before handovering to the client. So there is a one more environment called UAT, or people will call staging environment. So we are going to transfer this login page functionality to the UAT. We will tell that, so we have developed this module or this page, you can start testing it. So the client will test it and it's working fine. Then we are going to make it to the live, that is a production. So this whole process, this infra creation, dev environment setup, SIT environment setup, UAT setup, production setup, and moving the code from different environments. So these are called as a deployment. Deploying the code into the various environment. So this work will be done by the DevOps engineer only. So finally, if any database operations are there, we need to perform it. So finally, once we deploy it, we will monitoring the server. It may be a infra level monitoring or hardware monitoring. Everything will monitor it. If the storage, if the space is getting 80% or 90%. So we will have a monitoring mechanism to alert. We should get alert messages. If any space issue, application is not running, all the mechanisms we will monitoring in the monitoring phase. In the monitoring phase, if you found any issues, again we will report to the, it is a bug means we'll plan it. Again, developers will fix it, build it, test it, deploy it. So this whole process will make it as a entire process will make it as a automation. So that's the reason every company like managers or team lead, even they don't know how it will happen, they just by clicking the jobs, so they can deploy the code into the various environments. This whole process will make it by using the tools. Okay, so first thing is, in order to maintain the developer's code, so we are going to have a source code management. Okay, so like we have a lot of tools are available in the market, like famous tools is like Git, Jenkins, sorry, GitHub. Okay, so next thing is we have a Bitbucket, Tata is SVN. So these are the tools in the real-time scenario. The company may follow any tools. So all the tools will doing nothing. So different developers are writing their code. So they want to take the code of each other's code. Some person working from India, some person working from another geographic location. But still we want to manage the entire project code. So for that one, they are maintaining the source code management. So all the developers can push and pull the code of each other thing by using this source code management. Okay, so once the code is ready, now code is ready, login page or anything is, code is ready. Now we need to build the code. For building the code, we require a build automation tools called Jenkins. Whatever the code is written, so now we need to have the build automation tools, Jenkins. So by using the Jenkins, either we can, if it is a Java project means, so we will go with build automation tools like Maven and Gradle. Okay, so in this build automation tool also, we are going to scan the code. Okay, so scanning the code, we were using the SonarQube. Why we require scanning the code is nothing but, so if any bug fixes, any vulnerabilities are there, any issues are there, what are the jars which are used by the development team, if it is causing any issue, the developers are also not writing the code in proper standards. Also, if they are not covering the code coverage in like 60% and 70%, if the code coverage is not happening, so all the things we can done by using the scanning the code. For that one, we are going to use the SonarQube. Okay, so all the things will come under the, we can integrate with the Jenkins and we can build the code via build automation tool. So next thing is we have a configuration management tool. Okay, so we have Chef, Puppet, and Ansible. What is meant by configuration management tool is nothing but, so for example, we have a system. So this is a one kind of a system. We need to install Java here. I want to install Java. What we will do? So we will log into this system. We will download the package. We will install it. For example, this system, it is taking at least 2 to 5 minutes. One system. So I want to do the same kind of activity in 10 servers. Okay, so if you take 10 servers, so in this 10 servers also, I want to install the same kind of a Java. I need to log into each and every system. I need to spend minimum 2 to 5 minutes, whether the Java is there or not. If Java is not there, I need to download the package. I need to follow the same steps which I'm following in here. So if you take at least 2 to 5 minutes, 10 into 5, 1 hour I need to spend on installing only. So now another activity came into picture. I want to install .NET. Again, I need to go to the system. I need to spend 5 minutes here. 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Like that, I don't want to do this kind of a work. So what I will do, I will write something like a small kind of a script. I will write it. So if I run this script, it should execute the script in all the server within a fraction of minutes. 1 or 2 minutes only, it should execute the script in all the servers at a time. Okay, so that we are going to call it as a automations configuration your servers. We need to configure the servers without logging to the servers. Just we'll make a connection to the main server. So if you run the script in the main server, it should execute the script in all the servers. So that we can done via Ansible playbooks. Okay, so how to write Ansible playbooks, how to do the task, how to do the work of other servers work. So we can do with Ansible. So Chef and Puppet are the old one. So now all the companies are following the Ansible. Okay, so in his configuration management tool, we are going to cover the Ansible part. Okay, so next thing is we have a containerization tool called Docker. Okay, so what is meant by Docker? Containerization tool. So for example, we go with same example. So now this is your system. This is your friend system or another developer. This is developer 1 and developer 2. So now anything, any project you take it, .NET or Java, PHP, Python, Angular, Node.js, any programming language you take it. So if he has developed, he's installed Java in his system, so he is running some application. That application is working in his machine, but same code he has given to his developer 2, but same application is not working. Okay, so why? Because there will be n number of reasons. So whatever the system which he is using, if it is identical system, like each and every configuration, like a folders, libraries, jars, what are the things he has used in his system, it is identical system only, the application will be working. So if you do what are the changes he is doing in a local machine, so if he is not doing in his local machine, that will not work. So in order to overcome these problems, what they will do, so in this system, I will not do anything. What they will tell, so developer 1, what they need to do, so you just create one container for me. In that container, application related things which are required, softwares, libraries, binaries, jars, everything you bind it to a container. So if you want to run the Java application, you require Java. Everything you put here, just give to me. I will just run it. I don't want to install any softwares here. So just give me the container. I will run the container here. So if it is working in your machine, it should work in my machine. Okay, so everything they are binding in the container, software installation, folders creations. So what are the application related things which you are doing it? Everything they will bind into the container. So just ship and run it. So they will ship the container, and that container we will run in another machine. So not only this machine, you can run in any machine. So we can't blame each other, right? So if it is application is working in your machine, it is not working because of you haven't done any configurations, missing software or missing library. Those type of answers we should not hear. So if it is application is working in your machine, it should work in my machine because you have binded the container, you have given the container for me. Okay, so that is the why every company is following now containerization tool Dockers. Okay, so finally we have a cluster management. That is Kubernetes. Okay, so here same thing, cluster is nothing but group of servers. Okay, so this is a cluster. So inside the cluster we have a servers. Okay, so deploying application inside this cluster. Okay, identical servers. This is Windows 11 means remaining all the servers also Windows 11. So if you did installing Java should be there. This all the systems are Java. So we can tell that all the systems in the cluster should be identical systems. Softwares, folders, creation, everything should be identical. So you can deploy the application inside the cluster. So if one of the server goes down also, remaining servers will be there. Our application will be running 24/7. So if you want to deploy a new version also, we can deploy without downtime. So that is the concept of managing your cluster that can be done via Kubernetes. Okay, so next finally we have a Terraform. Okay, Terraform is now trending one. Like if you want to build any infrastructure for any cloud, not only for the AWS. So I want to go for the AWS, GCP, Google Cloud, Azure, any cloud you take it. So if you want to build infra for all the clouds, so you can go with Terraform. Terraform is a single solution for all clouds. Okay, so just I will tell the basics for Terraform. This is not part of the training. So how to install Terraform, how to create a resource in any one of the cloud, I will show you. Okay, so in this training, we are going to under the DevOps perspective. We are going to cover the Linux, shell script, Git, Jenkins, Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes. Okay, Linux, shell scripting, Git, Jenkins, Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes, and we have Terraform. Okay, so we'll go with monitoring. Okay, so this is the thing we'll go to one by one. This is a part of DevOps one. Okay, so Terraform we will not cover everything, just we'll cover the basics like.
Shyam, on the question, like two things like CI/CD pipelines, like where it will comes actually.
Yeah, which one?
CI/CD pipeline creation.
Yeah, CI/CD pipelines creation will comes under the project. So I will correct the projects, like 1 or 2 projects will cover it. Okay, so CI/CD is nothing but continuous integration and continuous deployment. So CI is nothing but Git and Jenkins will comes under the CI process. So deployment, we have a Docker, Ansible, Docker and Kubernetes. Okay, so DevOps is nothing but they will comes about the CI, CAD. CI/CD is nothing but continuous integration and continuous deployment or continuous delivery, we can call it as. Continuously we are integrating the code. So Jenkins is a Git, we will write the code and we will build the code. Building and integrating the code will comes under the CI process, integration. But deployment, we can deploy either to Docker or Kubernetes or Ansible also, we can deploy the code.
Like creation of pipelines and execution, right? A couple of projects we will be discussing, right, Sam, during our tenure of the class.
Yes, yes. This entire thing, what are the things we'll learn first? Everything we will learn individual services. Then finally, by the combination of all the things, we will do one project, entire CI/CD process. How to make an automation if you update the code, how to deploy the code, or how to access the code without downtime. We will see in the project.
Also, Sam, one more request, right? Terraform, thanks a lot for providing these details, right? Terraform, as you mentioned, right? It's a core, like it's a major one, like all the clients are looking for that.
Everybody, like if you are in your resume, if you are putting Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes, and Terraform means, so you will be like a very like get good calls and they will be the first priority. Okay. So
but one request actually for the Terraform, right? Instead of basics, right? So one request, right? It's not like if possible, can you spend?
This is not part of training. So the people has to be like just they don't know right Terraform, right? So they will ask like this is not part of training. Training is completely deals with our AWS and DevOps only. Terraform is a separate course. Okay. So but you people not to face any difficulty in the real-time scenarios. So just I will tell you the like how to create a resources in AWS or any cloud. I will take it. How to install it, how to set up it, and how to create it. If you know how to create a resource in one thing, so you can easily grasp for other resources. Okay.
Hi, Sam.
Yeah.
Is this training is enough for 2 years of experience people?
Yeah, 2 years, 4 years also it's enough. 6 years also they can keep the experiences. So these, apart from these only, they will ask the questions. So
okay,
they will
like
ask
real-time experience, real-time work also you need we learned here.
Yeah, real-time work also you can see here. Real-time work is nothing but, so every company follow their own mechanism for the CI/CD process. So companies may use Jenkins and Ansible only. Some companies may use Jenkins Docker only. So companies will use Kubernetes and Terraform. So there is for every tool, there is a alternative tool also there. For example, if you go with the Kubernetes, so some companies, instead of using the Kubernetes, they will go with OpenShift. Alternative tool of Kubernetes also, we have OpenShift. So for alternative for the Ansible, we have Chef and Puppet. So in the real-time scenario, every company follows their own mechanism, CI/CD process. So if you're joining as a DevOps engineer, first of all, they will give the KT for you. So the process and the implementation and the commands will never change anywhere. So if you go for the Kubernetes, the topics wise, concept wise will not change anywhere. But the way of using is different in each and every organization. We need to adapt that, how they are implementing it. That's it. Okay. So everything, the concept here is all the things are real-time scenarios only. So if you are facing any entry also, 90% of the questions will come from here only. What are the things we are teaching in training? The real-time scenarios also. So if you get a chance to work on the Bitbucket. So you heard about the Git only GitHub. So don't get confused or don't get with Bitbucket. So they will ask it, have you worked in the Bitbucket? You can tell that I have worked on the GitHub. So I can easily adapt the Bitbucket. So commands and everything is same. Pushing or pulling the code, merging the code, okay, creating the branches, everything is same only. But here, usage will be little bit different. That's it. Concept wise is same. Even if you go for the Chef, Puppet, and Ansible, so these three tools will do the same. Configuring the servers only do, but the terminology and usage will be little bit different. So if you know one thing, we can easily adapt other thing. Okay. So these are the part of training we are going to cover it. So Terraform is the one thing. If you a little bit focus on the Terraform also. So this is the part we are going to cover about that.
Yes, I'm like only one request, if possible, right? So can you please increase couple more sessions on Terraform if everything is going fine?
Okay, because the time constraint is also very important, right? So we need to cover this whole thing in 70 hours. AWS and DevOps. Almost we need to finish.
So what about Kubernetes? How many hours will be covering during our tenure of the sessions?
Kubernetes we are going to cover almost 8 to 10 sessions.
Okay.
Okay. So we will go with installation and we'll go with some topics like deployment configs, config maps, secrets, volumes, services. Okay. Everything we will discuss in the Kubernetes with examples.
Okay.
So this training will be like the persons who are non-IT background, we will cover from the scratch, like how to install the softwares, how to set up the accounts, how to log in it, and each and everything by screen sharing only we will do from the scratch itself. The persons who are from non-IT background, they need to be like, if IT background people, they will spend in 30 minutes means you need to people has to spend minimum 1-2 hours on the training. So practice is very important, guys. Simply listening, and if you hear it after a few days, you will forget everything. So once you don't put your hands on the system wise, you will not learn nothing. Okay. So AWS, you can easily grasp it, but when it comes to the DevOps activities, so we require a practice here. Okay. Everything, this is completely different. This is completely different. This is completely different. These are everything. It's a completely different thing. But in the real-time scenario, you may get a chance to work in any one of the two tools only. Not entire CI/CD process will not work it. So you may get a chance to work on Docker side. You may get a chance to work on the Kubernetes, or you may get a chance to work on the Terraform. Okay. So don't think that we should work on each and every tool, but we should have a knowledge on each and every tool. Talking about something.
Shyam, what kind of monitoring service we'll be discussing?
Monitoring services, we have an AWS is there. Okay. So I will go for other service also. If you type permits, we will go with other service also. I will do it.
Prometheus is there, right? So, and
Yeah,
Grafana,
Prometheus, Grafana also there. So Kibana also there.
So Helm charts will comes under which area, Shyam? Helm
charts will comes under the Kubernetes.
Open right here. Yeah.
Helm charts will comes under the Kubernetes. Okay. So mainly we will be focusing on the non-IT students. IT students, they can easily accept it. Okay. So even this terminology also for non-IT people, it will be little bit difficult to understand it. The earlier stages, it will be difficult, guys. Okay. So try to understand the terminology first, like servers, what is IT industry? Okay. Networking, what is storage? Okay. So try to understand the things. you will be very easily adapted. Okay. Okay. If you have any doubts, we will continue. Otherwise, we will drop from this session.
So also Sam on request actually. So on daily basis 1 hour class, right? So are we providing running notes or kind of any material along with the recording sessions?
No, we just will do the screen sharing and we will type the comments in front of you, everything. Okay. But in the recording session, you can play it and you can pass it and you can prepare your own running notes. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Either you can go with history. I will tell you how to copy the entire session data, comments, and how I will tell you in the when you go with the sessions, how to take the backup of your data. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Hello. Hi, Sam. Actually, today's session is ended. For example, when will we get this recording?
That is from the management side. It is not in my hands. So I'm only giving the training part. So the recording sessions and storing part, sharing part, that management will take care. Okay. So they will create one WhatsApp group for you and they will share the details for you. Okay. Don't worry about the recording. You will definitely get the recording sessions.
Okay.
Sam, one last question from my end, right? So by considering the AWS services, right? So after completion of our course, like after our hard work, like how many years of experience that we can manage, we can update in the resume.
Okay, so based upon your sessions, like based upon your understanding of the AWS, we have a different kind of roles are there. Admin role, development role, architect role. Okay, so based upon your experience, like if you are keeping 10 plus experience, you can put the architect role, no problem. So they will ask the architecture, they will give the problem, we need to suggest the services and we need to provide the solution for the problem. So as from your development background or admin, like 2 years, 3 years experience, they can go with admin role or development role. Admin role is nothing but admin works. Except Lambda function, we can do any kind of activity. So they will ask the direct questions. What is load balancer? What is S3? Types of routing policies, like that. Direct questions will be. So as the experience you are putting more, you will be focused on the problem statement. The problem will be given for you. You need to provide a solution for it.
That means it's it's not kind of it's right question might be. I'm sorry if I'm asking like that one. So after completion of course, like can we say like I'm a cloud admin or a developer or like architect is a big word. I don't want to use. Like we can say, can we use admin or a developer? What we can say?
Yeah. AWS developer, if you go, it means that will be enough. So if you have like 5 years, 6 years, 8 years experience, also we can manage with these services. But if you put as an architect level, so we need to give the problem solution. Just I will have it like I have a AC devices there. So I want to get the data and store the data into the AWS. So we have TV is there. We have a fridge is there. So from fridge, every second I want to collect the data. I want to store in AWS. This is my problem statement. We need to provide a solution for it. What are the services are suitable for it? So can you do the POC on it and provide the solution for it? So this is the common problem we'll get from the client. We need to suggest the services. Okay, so I have a web-based application is there. Just to create architecture and that should be secured. And if you are deploying application, so we can access the application from the browser. So what are the services you will suggest it? So this kind of a problem statement will come when it comes to the architect level.
Okay, right.
Okay, so if you are not part of architect level, so architecture diagram will be given for you. So suggested services and everything, they will only decide it, architect person. So you need to work on the, based upon the architecture diagram, we have S3. So whenever any person is submitting the data, we need to store in S3. So for that one, we need to write a logic. Okay, so they will give the task for you. You need to complete the task if you are not part of architect level. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So others, actually nobody's asking other doubts. The people who are from non-IT and anybody, Kishore, Lavanya, Mohammeddin, Pavan, Praveen. Anybody have any doubts, any questions?
Like Azure, it's good.
Good, okay. So try to go through the session. Like if you are able to understand a few things, also fine. So that will be helpful for you guys. Okay. Chalo, bye guys.